Can't just be.
Don't make me have to play the Heat.
Yo, ski has not been put on to the rhythm culture yet.
Oh man,
I was trying to tell him about it the other day, man.
Okay. Oh, there it is, and it's live. What kind of? Hello, everybody. This is the BeatPPL podcast, and little technical difficulties. I don't understand what Google Hangouts be doing sometimes, man.
It still doesn't show me. It still doesn't show as live for me.
It says live on my side.
Yeah, we're on. I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
That is kind of weird, ain't it?
I'm gonna leave and come back in then.
Okay. Cool. So, yo, who we got on today? Did we lose anybody? Oh, Ken jumped off. He'll be going back on. What up, D Still?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm back in town. I leave again this week, so for a couple.
Word. Well, where you been? You've been like all over in the Netherlands and Norwegian country.
I was in Sweden, Norway, Copenhagen, Denmark. Yeah, I've been just traveling for a while with the band and just been just exploring, collecting a lot of things for my ears, some sampling and just doing a bunch of stuff, man.
Yo, man, you should do a worldwide sample pack just to kind of commemorate your travels. That'd be dope.
Hey, I've collected a lot of stuff on the road. I bought this microphone for my phone called the Shure MV88.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, M-Sync put me up on that, and bro, that joint changed my life. Dope. I don't carry a Zoom recorder with me anymore.
Is that that's the iOS one?
Yeah, bro, and it has mid-side decoding, so like it's in the app you can choose what you record from the one mic. It's really
That's
cool.
pretty nice.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I still keep a Zoom recorder because I like using SD cards, man. I like being able to record something, knowing where it is, taking it and putting it in something else. Like
I feel you because you're mad complicated.
Yeah, of course. Like this shit ain't difficult. It's whack.
That's what all these cables are for.
Hold on. What is the mic called again?
It's called the Shure MV88.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll grab it while you guys talk.
Why they put MV88 on there? That's I feel like they shouldn't say that like that.
It's like the Rolling.
You were catching feelings off of that.
You already know.
So let me go around the table. Ken, welcome back, brother. What's going on with you?
Oh man, I've been working, and I'm very fortunate. Very fortunate to be super busy with both sound design, product design, and everything else. So I just finished wrapping up a large project that I can't talk about just yet, I don't think. But lots of other. you over there chuckling. Still knows what it is. But no, like, yeah, I just been super busy and fortunate to be busy. So, you know, just keeping grinding.
We got Ski up in here. What's up, Ski? Welcome back,
hey,
man.
What up, man? How you doing? Unlike you guys, I don't have the nice studio in the background. I'm in a hotel room. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, about to perform tonight.
Nice.
Word. You gonna be doing you switched on BAP performing that stuff, showing the stuff off up there?
Nah, not tonight. Tonight I'm performing with Currency. I'm just gonna be DJing for him tonight.
Okay, word.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Well, yo, Ken, what'd you say? There was one thing you wanted to get right into. The Eloquencer. I don't have the Eloquencer. I don't know nothing about it, but
well, we could dive into just modular sequencing and mod BAP sequencing more specifically, because, you know, just a modular sequencer, I mean, that's cool and all, but if it can't do what we need it to do for mod BAP, it's like, okay, then it's just a sequencer. You know what I mean? So we were kind of talking. I know Ski recently was in the market for a new sequencer. Like, and when I say a new sequencer, I don't mean just like, you know, a simple analog sequencer, something that could actually get you from scratch idea to a song, like something deeper inside of your modular. And he ended up going with the Eloquencer. For me, I tend to use the Zeta Ohm Fluxus 1. And I would say there's a few other sequencers out there that are kind of on that level. But like, to me, this is like the top level of modular sequencers. This is like the level of modular sequencers where it's like, it's still in your case, but you can actually do a full production with it. And it's got a lot of really cool tricks. So I would say like Eloquencer, Fluxus 1, the Audio Damage, what is it, ADM 1? The Audio Damage one's pretty dope. And then
what about that? Is it Stilson and Hammer, something like that?
Stilson Hammer.
Yeah.
I have like one that I want to add, but I don't know if it's necessarily a modular joint. The SEQ.
Well, I see a lot of cats using it with modular,
and that's the polyend one. So that one's standalone, but at the same time, I mean, I put that in kind of a similar circumstances like the Circlon. So those are some really powerful modular sequencers. But a key aspect of that stuff is that you can patch into them, so you can modulate aspects of your sequence, you know, from external sources, and it can do a lot. You know, so the Eloquencer is, I think, 8 tracks.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And
I think it is 8 tracks. And while the Fluxus 1 is 6, right?
Well, no, the Fluxus 1 is weird because it's 4 tracks, but then for each track you have a CVB that can be kind of independent as well. So you can kind of break it out to being like 8, but technically speaking, it's 4. And then you have individual envelopes, individual arpeggiations, individual LFOs, that kind of stuff.
That's the reason. That's the reason why I went with the Fluxus 1, because I was looking at Eloquencer and Fluxus 1. I went with Fluxus 1 because it felt like there was a lot of, you can get really granular with it, like on per step type of basis. I thought that was dope.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a question. Out of all these sequencers that you guys are talking about, and I know this is going to be a stupid question, but which one sounds the most human to you?
Eloquencer.
No, Eloquencer.
Well, I like Eloquencer. Let me tell you something about the Eloquencer. I love the Eloquencer because of the swing percentage that it has. If I turn that little motherfucker up to 5%, it's swinging, but it goes all the way to 80%. So it does crazy, off the grid, Dilla type shit. You know, if you fuck with it.
That's dope.
Okay, so one issue that I've always had, and Ken and Corey know this, I don't really use swing, but I don't really use quantize either.
So hold on, I'm gonna kind of Look at it from a slightly different angle. So Ski's got lots of experience now that he has the Eloquencer, whereas I've got lots of experience with the Fluxus One. I've had it since it was in beta stage, so like I know it pretty well. I know Corey also has a Fluxus One. He's kind of still learning it.
Yep.
Both of the sequencer are. Both of them are really dope and can do a lot of stuff as far as like swing and randomization, that kind of stuff. I'll just speak to the Fluxus One as far as saying it will allow you to do random, and you can also adjust swing per track. You can adjust swing. You can modulate swing also, which is important. You can basically change everything inside of it. Like you can have everything modulating everything. There's an internal matrix of modulation destinations. So you can have, let's say you had track 1 is running, right? And you had like individual LFOs going per step. So like you had an 8th note LFO, like tempo synced LFO running at an 8th note on step 1, but on step 4 it goes to 32nd notes, right? You can send that LFO out to your say skip 1, right? Or skip 8 or skip however many steps.
Yeah, I dig that.
And you can be modulating how many steps you're skipping and all kinds of stuff. Like so with that thing, you can actually kind of sculpt it to be as random or as sloppy or as tight as you want, all inside of the module.
So would you say it's almost like the transmod section in Geist 2? Where you can kind of assign anything to anything.
So it's kind of like that, except you're not limited to what's inside of Geist. So like in Geist, you can do that, but you're still limited to what's inside that platform. Whereas with these, it's got MIDI on it, so it's got DIN MIDI on it.
Okay.
By way of two 1/8" adapters, and then it's also got inputs for gate and CV coming in, and you can modulate it through that way too. So you can modulate it both internally and externally.
Oh, that's super dope.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's super dope.
The other thing that I like, hold on, let me just show you this real quick.
Oh, here we go. Once he gets out his seat,
let me show you something real quick.
Let me show you this. So, hold on, I'm trying to see my screen, so I gotta. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't get too quiet because I'm on a dynamic. So, but yeah, so this is the Fluxus One right here. The other cool thing about this is, let me see if so I'll turn this up a little bit. So you can actually, these silicone buttons on here, you can kind of like finger drum on them, or you can set them to be whatever notes you want from a sequence and then actually play them with your hands.
Actually, that's the thing too. Those pads feel nice. They're not like, I was surprised at how nice they feel where you can actually play them.
But they feel like pads, you know?
They're made out of silicone.
So I'll just show a quick for instance about the random thing that I was talking about earlier. So if I had this, if I want this pattern to go random, all I have to do is hold down step 1 and then press the random button, and then it'll allow me to decide how random I want it. Do I want it to be pitch and gate, or just pitch, or just gate? Do I want it to be quantized to a specific scale? How many octaves do I want? So I'm gonna hit this again, and this is gonna go random. So that was a random pattern right there. It just switched up. And I'll do it again. And it's staying within the scale that I want, so it doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, that's dope. Hey, let me hold on. Still, are you watching the broadcast?
Yeah,
Somebody said they can only see Ski.
Yeah, I only see Ski on the broadcast.
What kind of business is that?
Bro,
this thing crazy right now today.
Well, let me see. I see Ski on the broadcast.
Yeah, but we only see him.
Okay, let me lock on and lock off.
He over there looking real relaxed.
No, you don't do that, Corey. Corey, don't log off, because if you do,
I'm not logging off. I was locking on his screen.
Oh, okay.
Toggling off of to see if that was worth it.
I see it.
Okay, Masada said I just came up.
Okay.
Okay. All kinds of craziness.
Yeah, that is all kinds of crazy. Okay. Word. Okay. But hey, so here's the thing. I think we talked about it before too, Ken, about that particular sequencer. I was looking at both of those, but I think the reason I went with Fluxus, one is because you can get so granular, and two is because I think it made a difference that I met the dude before the sequencer ever came out. He was still working on it. We met him, and I wanted to kind of support what he was doing. And you said there's still a lot of features that hasn't been implemented in it yet, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing is
so
so yeah, you need to, I think you need to select who's talking, or you can click on your own thing twice and it should automatically select between us when we're talking. Because right now
it's supposed to be doing, like on my screen, I'm seeing it do it.
I see Ski right now, so I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so I'll talk anyway, and you know, Ski's over there being the model for my voice. So that's so yeah. What I was gonna say is, yeah, when we were at NobCon, we met up with Tenkai, who's the owner of Zeta Ohm, who makes that sequencer, and he was kind of talking about different things, and I was like, oh, well, yeah. If it has these inputs and those inputs, then that means that we can, you know, we could do envelopes on this. And he was like, yeah, you could do envelopes. And I was like, so you could do individual drum envelopes per step then, right? He's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Man, not like 3 months later, he hit me up and he was like, yeah, I put these envelopes in there just like you were talking about. Like, so he's been real active as far as like, you know, changing the module and getting it, you know, in a more usable state, you know, dictated by how the users want to use it, which is really dope. I'm really enjoying it. I've seen a lot of really dope stuff with the Eloquencer as well. And I think, is Lee using it? Is Lee using the Eloquencer?
Yeah, Lee uses the Eloquencer. Yeah, he uses that and the ER301 as a sample piece. But
man, I'm about to make that that Fluxus One a standalone box. Just get a little box for it and just make that joint standalone.
Hey guys, pardon me for a minute, guys.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay, I dropped out and came back in so that hopefully it would fix the feed, but whatever.
And I was thinking, man, it would be dope to make that Fluxus One just like a one box unit, like just a standalone little sequencer. Because when I think about the Fluxus One, I'm like, if I were to put that in a little case, it would be probably the size of a Digitap on its own, right? Or is it smaller than that?
Digitac, yeah, it's probably a little smaller than a. Well, I don't know. No, yeah, it's probably a little smaller than the Digitac, width wise, obviously.
Hey, yo, Ken.
Yo.
Do you like the Fluxus One because it's called Flux?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you like it.
Is that why you like it?
Tell the truth, Ken.
Yes.
Okay. Dope.
That's what's up.
Nothing wrong with that, bro. There's nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, so here's the thing, though. What about the? I mean, does it really matter? So if you like a Eurorack purist, you ain't trying to have no external sequences. But you know, I kind of like having external sequences. But I did try the Fluxus One because I want to have some power in the box that I could just sit in front of the modular and go to town with and start creating it, then incorporate that with like the MPCX and
bro, that's too much work, Corey. You got the MPCX.
Yeah, oh, that's super easy. That's kind of
but you know what? The X is dope for that, but man, like the X can't do everything. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of there's a lot of potential for the X's CV that aren't even touched yet. You know what I'm saying?
And I totally get it. I mean, like for the layman, like I feel like, hey man, if you're just gonna do regular sequencing, just use what you got and interface it with your modular. But
that's true.
But if you really want the features that the Fluxus One or that the Eloquencer has, because I know dudes, like, let's be honest, they'll buy something and they don't use like 10% of the features that it has. They just use, they just use it for, because it's cool and I like the sequencer. But I feel like the machine can do the job of a lot of stuff. that a lot of these sequencers can do.
Yeah, for sure. And I use that.
Yeah, because for me, that's why I feel like, man, I love the way a lot of the Electron machines sequence, and I would use that to sequence my modular. Or I love the way my machine sequences, and I would use that to sequence my modular. I would just get, you know, some sort of interface like the MIDI to CV or some sort of gate module, and I'm straight after that. But that's only for my needs now. Once I become like Corey and Flux, where they know like mountaintop of modular kind of stuff, then I feel like I can go get an Eloquencer or a Fluxus one. But I don't really need that right now. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, you know, I could tell you sometimes it's a rabbit hole, man, where you like, you know, I think I would like to have this feature, those features, those features. That sounds good. That sounds good. I'm going to get it and explore it. And I think that's part of one of the things that I did with the Fluxus One was like, I'm going to explore what that can bring to the table. Right. And then, but I'm still learning it. You know what I'm saying? And then to tell you the truth, it's just one of those things where if you're not careful, like for me, I could come in the lab and I'm ready to get down. If something I'm learning, it'll take longer to get into it if I'm just ready to get in and start. So I'll just get in on the X and get started and be like, oh, I was going to do this or that. But once you get into a groove of producing, that's where the thing comes in sometimes.
No, I totally.
So my thing is this, like I have MIDI to CV modules so that I can sequence whatever I'm doing on my machine or my MPC or whatever. Like you don't even need an X in order to sequence CV, you know, into your Eurorack from an MPC. Like you just need a MIDI to CV module.
Sure.
And you know, I do that from time to time. But for me, at least, my modular serves three purposes, right? First purpose is
more modules. Well,
no, listen. Hold on now. The first purpose is that it's a sound manipulation tool, so I can process my audio through it, right? So that's one thing, which for the most part, I don't really need to sequence along with the tempo for that. Sometimes I'll tempo sync my effects, but not all the time, right? The other thing that I do with that is, you know, it acts as a drum machine and synthesizer, right? And that's straight up what it is. I forget what else I was going to say now. You got me all twisted. But basically, what I'm saying is this. The unexpected. The third thing is just unexpected sounds, right? So unexpected sounds, unexpected sequences, which are not going to come from machine, are not going to come from MPC.
Of course.
That's why I have a inbuilt sequencer. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to get these happy accidents, these strange patterns, these strange things that are occurring. And my modular allows me to get to places that I'm not going to get through a traditional form of a DAW or an MPC or whatever.
So yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that, because honestly, before I got my modular, what I had was like the A4, the Electron Analog A4. Yeah. So I had that joint and I just got the rhythm. And what I noticed is because of those sequences, it gave me something that the MPC didn't give me. And it's that random, that probability, that, you know, just the kind of stuff that it's not, the MPC is not built to do. It's just not that thing.
Doing that on the MPC takes too long.
Yeah. And so with those kinds of capabilities that was in the Electron sequencer, which makes me think they should do a Eurorack sequencer of their sequencer. But at any rate, I would combine those two, and what it would be like a solid foundation with all this random probability stuff going on top of it. And I get that same thing out of Eurorack now that I've gotten into Eurorack.
Let me ask you this: do you think they can make a sequencer that has where you can take the quantize off?
Yeah, they have it though.
A modular sequencer?
Oh, modular sequencer. Okay, so there's a couple that I've been looking at that kind of do it. I don't know many, but I remember, Corey, remember when I used to talk to you about the Qubit Trigger?
Yeah.
And that one, I saw a dude playing that joint live. Like he was playing drum beats live on that joint.
I had it for about a month.
And I was like, yo,
when I first got into modular.
I was like, that don't sound gridded at all. Like that joint is fire.
You gotta look at so when you say something's not quantized, we all know that something is always quantized.
Oh yeah, we know that
it's not.
But I'm getting to a point. I'm not talking down to anybody about this. I'm just kind of getting to a point.
Okay.
So certain sequencers allow for live input. Fluxus One allows you to do live input, right? So you can actually record your sequence live, and then you can dictate how tight that is. Now, things like I'm trying to think of the sequencer that did it most recently. So Drum Brute, for instance, right, has a method where you can unquantize, right? Now, granted, these more XOXO style sequencers, their PPQ tends to be really low comparatively speaking to something like a Machine or MPC, right? So we're not dealing with 960. We're not dealing with 96. A lot of times you're dealing with far lower PPQs, right? And that's what's dictating how tight something feels even when the quantize is off. The question is which sequencers are having this higher level of PPQ so that and allowing us to access them as well. Because a lot of times, even if it's quantized, you can push and pull off of the grid a certain extent before you hit the next note. And that's kind of where a lot of that stuff ties in as well.
I think for me, what's difficult, Ken, is in the modular, I guess, way of working, things kind of take too long for me when it comes to sequencers. Like I look at the sequencers and they're so compact and they're so like tight and menus and stuff. And I'm not saying all sequencers are like that, but the ones that I have seen in person and played with, I'm just like, man, I wish I had something like a machine type interface on a Eurorack where it's like, yo, I can play these pads on here and sequence a rhythm and then send these gates out to everything. Like something that simple with a real. Yeah, so I don't really know if that's out. So
well, Steel, here's the thing.
That sounds like a damn good idea.
This is where, and I got into a discussion with Shiro and Lee about this the other day. And my personal opinion is, don't be stupid, right? Because we were talking about having like drum pads inside of a Eurorack module and being able to do just that, right? Inside of a Eurorack module. And a lot of the discussion came about because of like modular on the spot and that sort of thing, which I feel like is a little too pretentious for its own good. When you know, it's cool for what it is, but if you're really talking about making music and you want to do this kind of the type of programming that you're talking about, Steel, well, then you might as well just have a MIDI to CV module and use an actual pad controller that's actually good for your hands and sensitive in the right way. And then maybe has a sequencer that actually works the way that you're wanting it to work, and just MIDI to CV it. Like, don't.
I feel you. But for me,
like, don't use something that's less powerful and less good for the task that you exactly want just because it's modular. Like,
no. But what I'm saying is, in the Euro, see, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I want it in my case. I don't want to bring an extra piece of equipment.
Yeah, but if you want it in your case, then you run into the issue of, okay, if I'm finger drumming in my case,
but I don't finger drum.
Now I'm hitting cables. Now I've got these little knobs that are in the way. Like there's a aesthetic.
Yeah, so Ken, I think you because you do finger drum and not a lot of people do. Well, some people do, some people don't. So I don't think that would be that much of a problem for that person. I think depending on the design of something like that, you can get enough space. Because think about what's dude's name? System 80. Is it System 80? I have his Jove filter, and he made an 808, 808 drum machine in Eurorack form, and it has the sequencer and everything in it. But I look at the form factor of that; it's kind of long, but at the same time, it's obviously a sequencer too, so you could use it to sequence other things. I assume. I haven't checked it out. Actually, but I think that layout and the space is perfect, but it's the 808 style sequencer, obviously.
So Corey, how about something the size of a Digitech?
Yeah.
Right? A Eurorack module that size. Because to me, that's perfect to be in that perfect square. To be in a Eurorack. Because it's almost the size of a Circadian Rhythms. It's almost the size of I don't know what other unit is that kind of size, but I'm thinking something that's a little bit more familiar to the person that's used to sequencing in that way. And I'm not saying that it has to be that way. It's just something that I wish was out so that I can jump faster into the Eurorack because it's kind of tough for me to wrap my head around. Like, man, in order for me to sequence this kick drum over there, I gotta patch this over there, and I want something that's like, you know, kind of. I don't want to have to patch my sequence out. You know what I'm saying?
All right, yo, I'm gonna show you something real quick, and yeah, I'm moving my camera around and all that good stuff just so I can show you this. Okay.
I'm just talking as the newbie to like modular stuff. Like, so you guys can answer my question.
Right.
Probably school me in a way like, oh no, you can actually do that. You know.
So I'm gonna show you this right now. Hold on, let me
So I can tell you while Ken is doing that, I could tell you I also have the Lifeforms drum sequencer. That's a pretty dope thing. It has like touch plates on it. I'll pull it up and show a picture of it. It has touch plates on it, and it has the envelopes in it already. So if you got a couple different voices like STO or, you know, anything, braids or anything, any VCO that you might want to have, any oscillator that you might want to have, I mean, you can just kind of patch it in and use the knobs, 4 knobs, because it's 4 tracks on there. You can kind of just use that and sequence what you want to sequence from there. It has nice swing on it too. But once you get all the cables in there, and I'm overdue for a video on it, but once you get all the cables in there, which they're all at the top, it can get a little cluttered, and it's really close to the knobs and stuff. So I can easily see what your issue is. But you know, there's tools out there that can possibly do that stuff too.
Yeah, I think Corey, for me, is that if I do want to do a performance on my modular, I don't want to take like a machine and my Eurorack case. I just want my Eurorack case to go with me, and I want the tools that I'm super comfortable with to be in. Jay,
hey, so what's in your case now? What do you use?
Well, I'm building my case right now. I have a small skiff, and I have a Mother 32. I have MIDI to CV, and I have the Mini Brute. That's what I use so far with the Digitac for my drum.
Okay, dope.
So that's kind of my setup. But I kind of want to get more modules for my rack, just because, you know, over at MSX Audio, man, I'm kind of like the super nerdy, jazzy, like jazz designy kind of weird guy, and I'm always talking to them like, hey guys, I'm gonna get into modular because I feel like I've reached my limit when it comes to samplers. Like I feel like I've done every sampler, I've played with a lot of them, and I'm like, you know what, I think it's time for me to get into modular so that I can start creating sounds, not from microphones, from recording the content, but now from like raw oscillators and a lot of stuff, and that's not in software. And you know what I did is I went and bought Reactor, and I learned how to patch just by getting Reactor blocks and messing with that. And then I got VCV, and then I got Softtube, and just been doing a lot of that sort of stuff, and just been teaching myself how to, you know, buying the plug-in versions of stuff so that I can learn how to use it in real life.
Here's the thing that I think is dope about what you do though, Daniel, is I feel like you have a good balance of using every damn thing. And when I say that, it's like, you know, you incorporate iOS, you incorporate, you know, obviously samplers and synths and stuff, but I think you do have some Eurorack stuff over there. I kind of dig, and obviously Ableton and those things. I kind of dig that you have a good balance of all that. Like there's tools you use that you put me up on iOS that I would have never thought about using.
Well, it's because I believe that if you're in the Army, you're supposed to learn how to use every gun.
Word.
You can't be that dude that goes to war. Is like, yo, I can't fight because I only have. They only taught me how to.
He took my rifle.
Yeah, they only taught me how to use this one gun. So I'm sorry, I got to sit this one out.
Right.
Like, no, you gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here. Like, no. So that's why even with music, like I tell people, well, I don't just stick to learning one style of music. If I'm doing a rock record, I throw myself completely into what preamps are used, what guitar amps, what's the right wattages for stuff, all that sort of stuff, so that I can make it sound like an authentic record. And I think that's what kind of has made us diverse sound designers, because we throw ourselves into the culture of the music that we're part of.
Word.
And it's like,
I'm going to try and join using a different browser real quick, because apparently I'm not showing up.
Yeah, you're not, dude.
Yeah, you're not. I'm not either, but I don't want to do that for myself because it might end the broadcast. So You know, if you see Ski or Daniel when I talk, just it's okay. be all right with it. Yeah.
I'm gonna try jumping off real quick and then Ski. So just you stay on, and then I'll be right back. We'll see if it'll reset things.
That'll work. Hey, and so while it's me and Ski for a minute here, but you know what I want to do? I want to big up Ski. Congratulations on dropping Switched On BAP. That joint is burning things up all over my feed. I love it. I've been checking it out. Obviously, I feel good that I've been able to check it out for a while already. How's everything going with that, man?
It's going good, man. It's going good. The feedback has been really good, man. Really positive. You know, it's motivating me to obviously work on Switched On too, and you know, just do more things to promote this album. Obviously, we got a end of December. I think we got a 20-city European tour. We're setting up for the album.
Dope.
We got you know, it sold out on Amazon the first day, which was a great sign. It's moving, man. It's moving. People are, you know, they kind of, you know, they take into it. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. Actually, I love the thing because it elevates the movement and just the idea that like you can do new stuff and you can push the envelope and still sound like hip hop though. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna keep it 100. It's just good to see black dudes on Modular. I'm just keep saying it.
You say what?
I said it's good to see black dudes on Modular.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, of course.
Because I'm like, man, where they at? I'm like, oh, there go Corey and Ski. And Zero.
And Corey put me on.
Yeah, man, it's like there's a bunch of, so to me it's just like it's real encouraging because I'm just like, also you guys are making stuff that sounds like music.
Yeah, it's very musical. It's a very musical approach to Modular.
Man,
That's
I done
always
heard,
been my quest anyway on it.
I done heard some Modular stuff that sounds like asteroids exploding and and like electrical circuits going bad, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Boy, Neil, you know the movie like what was it?
You're kind of low, Ken. Let me turn you up.
Hold on, let me get loud. How's that?
There you go. That's better.
There you go.
Yeah. What was it? The movie Rampage, and what was the one before that? The one with the rock where it was an earthquake.
Journey to the Sun.
No, the fault. The fault one.
Oh, I know what
California one. You know what I'm talking about.
San Andreas joint.
Yeah. So that's a good buddy of mine, Neil, and yeah, like a lot of that movie's sound effects and whatnot were created on his Modular. Which
awesome,
massive Modular. So when you talk about like asteroids and all that stuff, yeah, just keep that to the movie scene. Like let's not do that for the.
No, but I think it's beautiful that you can do both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just I feel like so far for a long time, a lot of what was represented to me of the Modular music was just noise.
Was bloops and blips.
Yep. Exactly.
But you know
that's what took people long to get into it.
At the same time, you can take those bloops and blips and flip them. That's what I'm about.
Of course, I'm all about flipping a bloop here and there.
That's right.
I'm flipping a bloop. Yo, that sounds great. Is that related to cow tipping?
Yeah, I'm all about flipping a bloop and a blip, man.
Hell yeah.
That's what's up.
Let me see if you can see this at all. I don't know if this is going to show on the stream or not. Can you click on the different windows and see?
Corey, can you click on Ken's window?
Yep.
Because I don't know if they can see it, but I was just trying to show Steel real quick. If you have something like the what is it, the BeatStep Pro, you can unquantize it to an extent, and you can live record it. Like so if you hit shift.
No, I'm clicked on his thing. We can't see that. Because I got the video on live too. We can't see it. So Google Chats is jacking us today.
I'm gonna just explain it real quick. Hold on.
Okay, do that.
So if you hit shift and record, right, it'll go blue.
Mm-hmm.
When it does that, like let me get a hi-hat. So you should be able to hear this at least. Hold on, let me turn this up. So mute this. All right, so you can hear the hi-hats?
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm gonna just live finger drum it, all right? So that's not any swing at it or anything. That's just how it's doing. And if you wanna make it real sloppy, you can kind of do that to an extent. Like you get the like hold on, I'll do it like this. And I'm just doing it super sloppy so you can hear how it does on itself.
Okay, so that does sound like it's not, you know, like it's.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I get it.
Get outside of it to an extent.
Yeah, but I think for me, I'm a little hypersensitive to that stuff because I play drums, and so I'm always looking for something that's going to.
I'm sorry, Jay acting a fool and shit.
Jay Electronica. If you're not watching the live chat, you definitely should be in there.
Yeah, you losing if you ain't watching live chat.
Shout to Inky Blue, Jay Electronica, Masada. You know, we got a few heads in there. Chris Sunberg.
At first, he said, I feel like I'm just Skyping with Ski and y'all in the next room.
Oh man,
oh, that's funny, man.
Ken, thanks for showing me that, because like honestly, that's kind of why I decided to go Electron, because Electron kind of gave me a new kind of sequencer that I like using, that kind of was a little bit flexible for me, that broke me out of the machine Ableton MPC kind of way of thinking. So yeah. So that's kind of why Electron is where my brain is at right now.
And part of what I was showing you that for is because, so I use the BeatStep Pro for my modular drum sequencing for the most part like that. But then I combine it with a Trigger Riot, right? So I can use that, and then I can use a Trigger Riot, which gives me all this extra probability that I wouldn't normally have, and all this other weird programming that I can do. But the finger drumming, the pads, and all that is still separate from my case. So I'm not stuck trying to like finger drum in a small little space where I'm hitting wires and hitting knobs and all that kind of thing.
No, I feel you. I think for me, I wouldn't even. My approach would be a little bit different, especially when it comes to programming the beats. I would do more of the Electron style sequencing where I would put steps in, but then I would just grab certain steps and then shift them so they can feel the way that I want them. If there's a sequencer that does that, I think you said the Eloquencer does it and Fluxus does that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, man,
I'm going to that rhythm real quick, man.
So hey, hold on. Yeah, let's just actually that's exactly where I was going. Let's talk about the Rhythm MK2, only because the update, the OS update 1.45 just came out. What was it, on the 6th of July? And what that is the long anticipated dual VCO mono synth, mono analog synth is built in. They basically use the synth architecture that's already in there to give us another machine. So for those who don't know how Rhythm works, it has, I don't know, what is it, 12, 13, 14 different machines that are basically different instruments that you can choose on certain pads. And now they've added a dual VCO mono synth, and obviously all the architecture is analog. And so that gives you a built-in mono synth in your Rhythm MK2.
Corey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What does it look like? Does anybody got one, a picture or something?
Yeah, here. Hold on. Ski, can you see? Can you see my my screen?
I've been seeing that thing, man.
Hold on. We gotta figure out a way to let the actual people see it, because right now all I see is Ski up on the feed.
Oh, that's dope. So that thing is pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's actually pretty dope, man.
I love it, man. I'm you know, there's the person that I don't want to mention in the podcast now that has a bunch of complaints about it, but
Hey. In fairness, I complain about everything. All right. That's my job. My job is to find out problems and tell people either A, like why and how they should fix them, or B, to just complain.
Yeah, imagine if Ken treated all his girlfriends the way he treats gear.
You think I'd still be alive if I treat my gear? I don't think so. I love my wife, and she has no flaws.
Like, hey girl, you know what's wrong with you? The last girl I had a USB port.
So listen, before we get to talking about Firewire ports on women,
chill.
I don't want to get in trouble.
I feel like this is a hostile workplace environment right now.
Yo, I will say this: anyone who's looking to go to something like the rhythm from something like an MPC machine or any of the more standard hip hop style sequencers, even going back talking to something like an MC 909 or something, which kind of had that XOX feel about it in a way. The Electron way of programming is totally alien to the standard drum pattern programming that MPC guys are used to. You know what I mean? It's very XOXO style. It's very yeah, you can program live on it, no doubt. But man, it to me, it's much more like working on something like a 808 / drum brute / any one of those style analog drum synths, as opposed to where the Tempest was more like MPC pattern type stuff.
Oh yeah, well it makes sense because I mean, right, the Tempest was made by guys who like Roger Lynn was a part of that project, so that makes sense why it kind of moves more in the direction of an MPC. But obviously, people at Electron, you could tell they get their inspiration for their sequencer from the 808s, 909s of the world, that classic rolling sequencer style. But yeah, what's dope about so let me ask you, Ken, because you got this not long after us, and I know one of the things that I said about it when I reviewed it, which I made a mistake and deleted my first impressions demo of it on YouTube by mistake.
Oh.
Anyway, so you can't really do a first impressions again. Anyway, what you think of those pads?
The pads? So my first thing is I had a Rhythm MK1, and the Rhythm MK1 pads were absolutely atrocious. They were horrible.
Yeah. True.
The MK2 pads are almost not bad.
Almost not bad.
yo, guys, the night the Ken got his rhythm, he was hitting me on Marco Polo like, can you believe this?
Yeah, no doubt. Ken, that's par for the course. Ken does at least 5 days worth of complaints, and then when he gets new gear, then he moves on to what he likes about it.
And I was like, I can't believe this guy. Not even 5 minutes with this joint, and he already got a whole list.
So I will say this though, there is an aspect about these pads that actually is good, whereas on the Rhythm MK1 there was nothing redeeming about those pads. They were horrible. They should have never been on there. These ones, there's a redeeming quality, and here's what it is. There's like a depth to the velocity sensitivity on it, which is really great for when you're programming in the effects and the sends and that kind of stuff, and you map it to the pads. So you have this like deep, like you can push deeply into the pad and kind of vary the velocity feel on it. And it lets you program that kind of stuff really well, which for that, it works great. But, and for finger drumming, it's okay. Like it's passable, barely. But just don't expect them to be on like machine or MPC level.
Well, that's the key, because I said that in my review too. Like, okay, I don't dig these pads initially. It's one of those things because I'm thinking of MPC pads. That's the standard, right? So that's what I'm thinking of anyway. But can y'all hear us still out there?
Yeah.
Okay, I think just can't see. Okay, so it's an audio podcast. Remember those?
yeah, we're still getting audio. That's weird. Corey, I think you should drop out and restart, and it'll, like, you won't be a moderator, but you'll still be in the call.
Okay, I'm gonna drop off.
I would try it. See what happens here. I may have just ruined it.
I think it ain't gonna do that. If I leave it,
I've done it before.
Okay.
Yeah.